get aboard.
Well, hello, my friends. Zoso Dude here. Welcome aboard the Mystery Ship. Hey, it's my pleasure to host this show 3 days a week. I get to hang out with just some of the best people I've ever had the pleasure of knowing. I got to know many of them during a cross-country journey on my motorcycle, and I've got another one coming up within the next month. So I hope to be seeing many of you very soon. You know, on the show, we take care of one another. We watch out for one another. It is a great, great pleasure of mine to host this program. I'm glad you're here. Have a look at the fine shirts that these sailors are wearing. You'll find out how to get one for your very own and join the collage of sailors at the beginning of the program. Welcome aboard.
Man, that goes by so fast. It just goes by so quickly. I've got to be prepared the minute I see my buddy Vinny. The minute I see Vinny, I got to be ready to rumble. How are you doing out there, folks? It is wonderful to see you this evening. My name is Zoso Dude. I'm looking once again to my sailors to let me know if I am overmodulated or not. I want this to come off perfectly. I don't want Abe Sinclair to yell at me and tell me that I'm just entirely too loud. Entirely too loud. How's it going out there? It is a lovely Sunday, starting to turn to fall outside the garage here. Let me tell you, chilly today. In fact, it's not that it's cold. It's just that when you've been used to warmth for so long, that let me tell you what, God turned the thermostat in a big way, like dropped it 25 degrees, like that. And I've been paying the piper, just paying the piper. How are you? Are you doing well? Are you ready for another fun little Sunday night with your brother Zoe? He goes, boy, am I full of piss and vinegar tonight. Wow. What a day it's been. I actually worked today. Yes. Every now and then I work on Sundays, and this was one of those days. My boss, the owner of my company, bought himself a little project. It's a 1970 Airstream, and honestly, I should start taking pictures and some video because you guys aren't going to believe this thing when you see it. First of all, I love fixing up old stuff. Okay, it doesn't matter what it is. I love fixing up old stuff with my bare hands. It's who I am. It's who I've always been. My dad instilled that stuff into me. Don't throw it away. That was made in America. We can fix it. And 90% of the time he was right. I mean, it's funny. I always use this as an example. I don't know why, but the ever loving chaise lounges that you used to buy, they still sell them. The one that have the interwoven little straps of vinyl, sewn garbage. The truth is, the truth is that nowadays, for the price that it would cost you to go out, if you can find it, if you can find the replacement plastic that to weave in and out of there, I haven't seen that stuff in a hardware store. Hopefully they still sell it, but you used to be able to go down to the hardware store and buy that stuff. Now, if you want something like, we don't stock that. We can get it for you. It'll be a week, 10 days. And you look over at the brand new chaise lounge that came from China, and it's, $3.99. So most people will just throw away the old one and buy a new one. And first of all, you don't have to do any work, and instantly you have a new chair. So there is that. And don't think for a moment that wasn't done on purpose. It was, people. I am fortunate enough to say I'm old enough to remember when we made a great deal of stuff right here in the good old US of A. But ever since about 1970, they started exporting all of our manufacturing and all of our jobs to the point where we make next to nothing anymore. We're just consumers. And the sad thing is, just about anything you want is about 6 to 10 to 12 weeks out. Oh, it's on a slow boat from China. Everything is made overseas. In fact, I just saw I've been getting hooked lately, and I'm guilty. Color me guilty. When I pop onto YouTube, right, instead of immediately going to all of my subscriptions, and I have many. I have very many. I'm guilty of just clicking on those little 6 and 7 second videos that they have. They call them shorts. I'm a shorts junkie. What can I tell you? They have funny ones, and the ones of people crashing on bicycles I find most humorous. But a lot of them. I saw a construction one today. My sister sent it to me. It's a guy. Oh, this poor bastard. This poor bastard. He is on top of a roof. He's climbing up a rooftop, probably a 412 pitch, and somebody loaded him up. He's got 6 or 8 bundles of roofing, okay? Bundles of roofing are heavy. You carry 2 of them, up an incline, you're feeling it. I think back in the day, I would carry 3 at a time. But the thing is, we didn't carry them. we didn't carry them. We brought in the truck with the big machine with a conveyor belt, and that guy would just send them up one at a time, and we would literally take them and load them right on the peak of the roof. So there was no carrying 6 or 8 of them. This poor guy was clearly in a third world country, but he's carrying 5 or 6 bundles of roofing up, and he gets towards the top of the roof, and he steps on the plywood, and it was so heavy it broke the particle board roofing, the OSB oriented strand board, and the guy and the roofing just disappeared. Now, that happened to me once. That really, really happened to me once. Wait a minute, I'm hearing noises. My phone on? Okay. Well, anyway, that happened to me once. I worked with these 2 guys. They were stoners. And every day they would say, safety meeting. And these 2 guys were professionals. I mean, these guys got stoned to the bone like 3 times a day. The very first time that I decided to join them, I wasn't prepared. I wasn't prepared to ingest that quality. I mean, the truth is, I can count the times that I have smoked pot in the last 10 years on both hands. Okay. It's just, I used to get stoned morning, noon, at night, morning, noon, and night up until of the age of 23. And then one day I realized, God, it robs me. It robs me of my ambition. If I really want to be a rock star, rather than get stoned and lay around dreaming of being a rock star, man, we're going to do it, dude. I quit. I just quit. All of a sudden I had way more money. All of a sudden I was writing new songs. I was ambitious. I was booking gigs. I was making flyers. I was printing t-shirts. I was ambitious as hell. My drummer and my bass player and my lead singer still got stoned all the time, and it used to really piss me off. But back to the job. I was with these guys, and they got me stoned. And after that, they got me stoned once. And after that, I was so dazed and confused. They said, "That's it, man. You can't come to the safety meetings anymore. You're a lightweight." And I preferred it that way. As much as I wanted to be one of the boys, I didn't want to be one of the boys that badly. Anyway, one of these 2 guys were sheeting a roof, just like this guy, who fell through the roof. And one of the guys cut in pieces, and he walks up and he goes to put it down. And we had one of the trusses was irregular, meaning instead of being on 24-inch centers, because for whatever reason, one of the trusses was off by 1.5 inches. So it should have been it was on a 25.5-inch center. But because everything else was 4-foot centers, he cut the piece of plywood. And when he put it down, he realized his mistake. Oh, it's short. So instead of taking it off of there and throwing it down on the ground, he leaves it there and goes to cut another one. So I come along, I'm carrying the next sheet of plywood. I'm going up and over the peak and down the other side where I'm laying plywood. And I step right on this board that was this much short of hitting the joist. And I went, the board turned straight up, and I went straight down, all the way down to the garage floor. I'm bouncing off the trusses as I went. Painful. That was painful. I hated looking at that little TikTok video of that guy eating shit today. I really did. But I was meandering through. The different little shorts and stuff, and then eventually I got bored with it. I will say this: I'm becoming more easily bored with those little shorts. I used to be able to watch them for a half an hour, and Now I watch about 4 of them, and I'm like, this is fluff. Okay, this is a waste of my time. I need to. I need to. I need something that will tickle my brain. So I go and I watch one of my favorites, and I came across Pearl. The Texan and I were talking about Pearl the other night, and this this girl had on a woman that her story made my blood boil, and that was the impetus for tonight's program. The impetus for tonight's program. We'll get into that. Oh, will we get into it? Because Zoe is going to end up probably screaming, yelling, and throwing the microphone across the room. I'm going to try to contain myself. I actually had a very good day. Yesterday was my eldest daughter, Ashley's 33rd birthday. Happy birthday, little girl. I know you're not watching because you think your dad's a kook, but that's okay. I love you anyway. 33 years old. Hard to believe my daughter is 33. Just what the hell is happening to me? What the hell is happening to me? Wow. Wow. Holy Hannah. I got people watching this program that are younger than that. You know what I mean? Mammy. Anyway, my daughter, my youngest daughter, Victoria, came down from Corvallis because she and her sister are very close. And they had a girls' weekend together, and it was fun for them all. They went out karaokeing last night and doing what young girls do, and I guess they had a good time. We gathered them all and went to breakfast this morning, and it was fun. It was good to see them. And my grandson was there, and he's starting football next week. He's got his first game, so I'm gonna have to make some kind of adjustments to my Saturday rock show. I'm going to see this kid's football games. That's just the way I got to do it. I got to figure it out. I'm either going to go earlier or go later. I don't know. I really liked this past weekend. I went very early, 9 o'clock my time, and I went till 3 in the afternoon, which on the East Coast would be 12 to 6. Now, what if I started at 6 a.m., which, I mean, I'm up at 4 a.m. So what if I started at 6 a.m. and went to noon? Because back east, that would be 9 to 3. That's perfect hours. That's when people are out getting stuff done. That's when they're tinkering around in their garage. They're mowing the lawn. They're doing laundry. I think that might be a possibility. That might be the new hours of my Saturday show. We'll see. I'm going to take a vote. I'm going to take a vote and see what people want to do with that. I just want people to watch and enjoy it. I thoroughly enjoyed this weekend. It was fun. Whereas last weekend I started out mellow, playing some of the groovy old folky tunes. This week I came charging out of the gate with some hard rock. We were busting butt right out the freaking harbor. It was awesome. It was awesome. All right, let's go wander around the different. Let's wander around the different platforms and see who is here and how they're doing. How are they doing? Wait a minute. Is it Spudette's birthday? Is Spud's daughter's birthday today or something? Wait, wait. What does it mean? Happy birthday, Spudette. What does that mean? Little Spud. She's 22. Well, congratulations, Spudley. Happy birthday to your daughter. You can barely hear Zoe. Okay. That's fine. Let me know. I can turn up. I can turn up. Thank you, Val. I appreciate your input there. Let's see who's hanging out. Jayla17, TL Spud, Val Kimber is here. Bad Zoot in the house. Lynn Winters is with us. Who else? Who else is here? Willie Fix It in the house. I could have bet money on that. Gloria Paddock is with us. Miss 320 in the house. Artist 61. How are you doing, Steph? Good to see you. Good to have you aboard. P. Dan is with us, bringing some ice cream along. Thank you so very much. Mad Pogue in the house. We have got a fine, fine kettle of fish over here. Magatic. Us loving this cold weather shit. Can't wait till it stays cool outside, buddy or friend. I hear you. I hear you. Yes, it is. Wait, she'll be here? Is she really? Okay. This is wonderful. A great bunch of Syllabore in the house. Man, we got a great gang hanging out over at D Live. Got any Twitchers tonight? What's going on with Twitch? Why is it stopped? What is happening at Twitch? I'm going to refresh it. Yes, we've got Fiddle D holding down the fort. Good to see you, my friend. Great to have you aboard. Hope you're doing wonderfully. Hope you had a good weekend. I'm wondering if my buddy Matty from Matty F&B from PA is going to drop in. He just might. He just might. Let's check in over at the Tube. I see Snoitpo here, Abe Sinclair. Abe says he is the youngest person watching this show. Uh-huh. I bet you might be. You might be. Snoitpo is with us. Susan Danielle in the house. Gloria Paddock checking in over there to make sure everything is groovy. Great to have you aboard. Checking in at Rumble. We have Rumblers. Yes, Dixie Bell. How are you doing? She's about to go to bed. I miss y'all. It's bedtime back east. Yes, it is. Down Alabama way. Wonderful to see your smiling face. Thank you for dropping in on us. And let's get over to Pilled Foxhole, the home of free speech in America, where you can say what you want to say and nobody's going to throw you off the air. Mech Druid, good to have you aboard. Prairie Fire in the house. Val Hall is with us. John Rogers, how you doing, brother? Our, quite frankly, friend jumping over from the other side. Oil Man in the house. It's been a while, my man. Hope everything's good with you. Good to see you. Special K, of course. What's up, little lady? Pleasure to have you aboard. Better lately in the house. Ronnie boy, are you getting close to going down the aisle yet? I know you're engaged. Trick Pony is with us. Good to see you. Victoria Lee, sporting Belushi's underwear. There it is. Belushi's underwear, the lounge. This is the front, of course, but the back of Belushi's underwear, they're peekaboos. These are peekaboos exclusively at the lounge. Call your friend Belushi and ask how you can get some of the lounge underwear, peekaboo underwear. He'll tell you. Bitchtoria, how are you doing? Good to see you. Crazy Chuck with a K is with us. Prayer Warrior Girl in the house. We've got nothing but the finest sailors this side of Tucumcari, I'm telling you. It is wonderful to see. Bitchtoria says, okay, I'm in bed, but that's all right. That's all right. It's the way to do it. Just lay in bed and listen to your brother Zoe lose his mind, because I'm about to. Sean Joe. He says, is it me or is Zoe low? Well, I was so worried about having Abe yell at me for having the world's loudest microphone that I toned it down, but I'm happy. Yes, they are gross, Daily Insanity. Those are the grossest underwear you'll ever see anywhere. Classical chick. That's what's funny about it, honey. That's what's funny about it. You wouldn't catch me wearing those things. Only Belushi. Classical chick, good to see you. Great to have you aboard. 11/11/23, hopefully. Wow! Better lately, and Neo are hoping to get married on 11/11. That is phenomenal. I was hanging out today with my grandson, who was born, the kid was born 9/10/11. He was born 9/10/11. Now, let me tell you, when I came home from my day of work, and I tuned into first a couple of shorts, as I said, and then I got on one of my favorite channels, which is this girl Pearl, and I listened to a story of a woman, probably a mid 40s, mid 40s lady, talking with Pearl, sharing her story. It immediately, it immediately made me think of my grandson, and folks, your brother Zoe started coming a little bit unhinged, thinking about what could possibly happen. And I did some research, not tons of research, but I did some research in the last 2 hours. And I'm going to share some things with you that I think are probably going to do to you what they did to me, which is make my blood boil. Oh, it's enough to.
Why do we say
It's enough to piss off the Pope. It really is enough to piss off the Pope. Now, I've got to figure out, damn it. I wish I knew how to make this full size. I really do. I really do wish I knew how to make this full size. I accidentally downloaded a video player last week just before the show, and I forgot. I forgot to go into my apps and remove it on this computer. So we're going to have to suffer through it one more time. This is break time. This is the only break you're going to get because we're immediately going to launch into my story. And then I'm going to open up the phones and you're going to be screaming and yelling at me. And I'm going to be taking it from you because this is it. This is worth, if this doesn't chap your hide, I just don't know what will. I don't know what will. We will be back immediately following this wonderful break from this wonderful fellow. You've got just enough time to go and refresh your drink and take the dog outside or whatever it is you got to do. We'll be right back.
why do we sail upon the mystery ship? Because we never know where we'll go next.
This is where I always take a moment and thank the beautiful people who support this program in any way possible. Whether it is Lemons over there at D Live, or Gold Pills over at Pilled Foxhole, whether it is you sending me something by Cash App or PayPal or my new Buy Me a Coffee. I appreciate any way that you support this program, but even more importantly is just the fact that you share this with someone you know. Tell somebody about this crazy hippie guy who likes to rant up and down occasionally about this or that, especially on evenings like tonight when I'm really, really on edge. And I'm not normally on edge. Whoa, what's happening? Stop that. What the hell is that? What the hell is that? Where did that come from? Yeah, I so as I mentioned, had a wonderful day with my daughters, and I am an extraordinarily positive guy. My glass is half full, even after I've sipped it right to the end. Always, I look at the world through joy-filled eyes. I wake up in the morning and I choose joy, and I don't let anyone rob me of my joy. But every now and then I come across something that just doesn't make sense to me, and I like to share it with you. So tonight I was poking around and I came across this young lady. She goes by the name of Pearl. I know that probably most of you know who she is. I think she'd be a great guest for Frank there, Abe. You ought to reach out to her. So Pearl is a 26-year-old young lady extolling the virtues of what it would be like for women to stay traditional conservatives and perhaps consider remaining virgins until they get married, or just accepting the traditions of our grandparents and great grandparents, the the traditions of Americans about 100 years ago. She does her homework. This kid, she reads up. She can cite facts and all of that stuff. She's got a lot in that noggin of hers. Tonight, she had an interview with a woman who I'm going to say, like a guest, probably mid 40s. And the woman shared her story about her 14-year-old daughter who had gone to a public school. And during the however many years that she went to public school, what are you when you're 14? 10th grade? Ninth grade? Ninth or 10th grade? Her daughter came home one day and informed her mother that she was meant to be a boy and that she wanted to transition into a boy. And the mother looked at her and said, "No, no, you're a girl. You were born a girl. You've always been a girl, and you're going to continue to be a girl." This kid wasn't having any, and the mother started doing her homework and studied how her daughter came to the conclusion that she wanted to be a boy. The story that this woman told was absolutely unbelievable. I mean, enough to make the hair stand up on your arms. Okay? What she shared, AT shares that I am now the youngest watching this stream. I'm happy to have you here. Abe's an old man anyway. He's on his way to his 40s. Grandpa Abe. The woman shared that when she started investigating the curriculum that they had been teaching her daughter, first of all, she learned that. Here, let me just back up for a second. I want to share my story with you because When I was in school, I went to primarily uh, private schools for the brunt of my career. I will say that for high school, ninth, 10th, 11th, and 12th, I did go to public school. Now, when I went to graduate, because I had so many credits from the private schools, like I'd already taken, I was already good on math, already good on science, I'd already met all of their requirements that were deemed necessary by the public schools. I had to take, in order for me to graduate, I had to take PE, I had to take a shop class, I had to take a health class. A health class. Part of health, part of my health class, and I was the sole senior in my health class. Everybody else in the room was a 10th grader. I was the old man in the room, and they're like, what the hell is this guy doing in here? Why, you're just getting around to taking health now? Aren't you 18? You don't know about health by now? So, you know, the health class that they taught us was one semester, okay? It was one semester. And yes, we discussed sex education. We discussed the birds and the bees. We discussed everything from, all of that stuff that they teach you in health class. From for boys, it's worrying about nocturnal emissions. For girls, it's worried about uh, menstruating in class. Okay, these are the brutal subjects that we looked at for a total of one semester. One semester. Nowadays, it's K through 12. K through 12. I want to share this with you. I was shocked. I was shocked to find out that this. Let me see. Can I get rid of these? Can I get rid of these thumbnails? Man, I wish I knew how to run this. I wish I knew how to run this. Let me just share this with you for a second. So this is the National Education Standard Core and Core Content. And oh man, why can't I? I need this on a different screen. Damn it, I need this on a different screen. I'm going to have to read it to you. The National Sex Education Standards, Core Content and Skills, K through 12, second edition. K through 12. So they are teaching. This is put out by an entity described as FOSE, which is the future of sex education. Future of sex education. The National Sex Education Standards Core Content and Skills K through 12, second edition. This is sponsored in part by three entities, and I want to look them up because that's the one thing I didn't get to do. The first one is called Advocates for Youth. Let's look and see just who the hell Advocates for Youth are. Should we go with let's just ask Wiki who Advocates for Youth are. Why not? Advocates for Youth is a nonprofit organization and advocacy group based in Washington, D.C., United States, dedicated to sexuality education, the prevention of HIV and sexually transmitted disease, teenage pregnancy prevention, youth access to condoms and contraception, including emergency contraception, equality for LGBT youth, and youth participation. In addition, Advocates for Youth sponsors media campaigns and other forms of outreach programs which attempt to change societal norms to be more understanding of, accepting of, and responsible about youth sexuality and to drive youth sexual health equity. I suppose you all know what that means. Advocates for Youth has both domestic and international programs and creates and funds programs as well as lobbying for policies, including the Responsible Education About Life Act. Among its work is the preparation of educational materials such as publicity kit encouraging parents to talk to their children about HIV prevention under contract from government bodies such as the Center for Disease Control. Their mission and vision. Let's find out about Advocates for Youth mission and vision. Advocates for Youth champions efforts to help young people make informed and responsible decisions about their reproductive and sexual health. Advocates believe it can best serve the field by boldly advocating a more positive and realistic approach to adolescent sexual health. So the organization also has a vision that is described in terms of its core values, the 3 R's. And I promise you those 3 R's are not reading, writing, and arithmetic. Okay, whoops, what the hell? I'm not even on camera, sorry. It's been a long day. I promise you those 3 R's are not reading, writing, and arithmetic. Those 3 R's are rights to accurate and complete sexual health information, confidential reproductive and sexual health services, and a secure stake in the future. The second R is respect for youth by involving them in all aspects of programs that affect them. And the third R is responsibility to provide youth with tools to safeguard sexual health and for youth to protect themselves from pregnancies and STIs. So on the outside, it looks like it is right, just about like everything. The name sounds good and the core values sound good. Let's see. How about their programs? Advocates for Youth works heavily in collaboration with national, state, and local groups to run a number of initiatives. These focus on goals including contraceptive access for youth, prevention of unplanned pregnancy, STI prevention, comprehensive LGBTQ affirming and culturally responsive sex education teacher training, and ending homophobia and transphobia against youth. All the programs and initiatives heavily involve the youth as stakeholders. The Youth Activist Network, one of the biggest programs, focuses on activism and leadership. Young people work in partnerships with the advocate staff to implement campaigns and mobilize their peers in support of youth sexual health rights and justice. Well, aren't they a wonderful, wonderful entity right there? The next entity that is sponsoring this national sex education standards, core content, and skills for K through 12, it's no longer a one semester class. They are teaching kids about sex from K through 12. K through 12. The next group of people involved in this is a group called Answer Sex Ed Honestly. Let's see who they are and what they're about. Let's see who they are. Answer. Oh boy. You can donate right on their homepage. Answer is a national organization that develops and promotes equitable access to sexual health information through youth-centered sex education resources and professional development for youth serving adults. We believe in young people. We are dedicated to ensuring young people have the knowledge and skills they need to be happy, healthy, and safe well into the future. This means they should be able to access age appropriate and medically accurate information about sexuality directly and without interference. In other words, without their parents finding out about it. Answer knows that committed, caring adults play an integral role in supporting the health and well being of young people. For more than 40 years, they have helped adults to be the best sexuality educators they can be by providing the latest resources, most current information, and best practices for reaching and teaching the youth in their lives. Well, good for them. Aren't they another outstanding organization? Last is SIECUS, SIECUS. Let's just see who they are. Sex Ed for Social Change. Let's see who SIECUS is. Yes, SIECUS, Sex Ed for Social Change. The Sexuality Information and Education Council of the United States, or simply SIECUS, is a national nonprofit organization based in Washington, D.C., dedicated to advancing sex education through advocacy, policy, and coalition building. SIECUS develops, collects, and disseminates information, promotes comprehensive education about sexuality, and avoids the right of individuals, not avoids, advocates the right of individuals to make responsible sexual choices. Let's just see what footnote 1 means, because that's normally where they get you. Okay, well, it's not what I was hoping for, but it is widely regarded as the institutional voice of these concerns and a pioneer of comprehensive sex education programs. So this was founded in 1964 by Dr. Mary Calderon. I'm sure she's known as the Grande Dame of sex education, an instrumental figure in the advancement of sex education in the United States. I'm sure she was a lovely woman. Let's see. Her popularity eventually made her a target for right-wing politicians and conservative religious groups like Christian Crusade, the John Birch Society, and Moral Majority, who spent an estimated $40 million on a vicious smear campaign to discredit her. Well, I think I know everything I need to know about that woman. Let's move on. Let's move on to what got your brother Zoso worked up. First, I was a little bit taken aback. To find out that in the span of a mere, let's see, I graduated in 1977. So, what is that, 40 years ago? 45, 46, 46 years ago? God almighty, I'm old. In the span of the last 50 years, I guess, in public schools, the health class that I once took, which was one semester, has now turned into a full-blown K through 12 learning process about sexuality for all children. All the little children need to know about sex, starting in kindergarten. Now, I don't know what your kindergarten class was like, but I distinctly remember mine. Okay, I went to the North End School in Cedar Grove, New Jersey. My kindergarten teacher was a wonderful little Italian lady, Mrs. D'Amato. And my mom had to go out and get one of those, those bath mats that were rubber on the bottom. And everybody had a little cubby. each of us kids had a little cubby hole, and I took my bath mat and I folded it in half and rolled it up. And every day during nap time, we took a 20-minute nap. You got out your little bath mat and you rolled it out on the ground and you laid down for 20 minutes and just kind of looked around at the other kids who were laying down. And then you got out and you got on the merry-go-round. I was the kid who spun the merry-go-round as fast as he could and sent bodies flailing off of the sides, hitting their head on the jungle gym bars. Yeah, I was that guy. And then we did a lot of coloring. We did a lot of finger painting. I remember my mom made me a smock so that I wouldn't get paint on my clothes. We painted pictures and brought them home. I remember I would bring home pictures when I was in kindergarten. I don't remember a darn thing about what a labia minora was. I don't remember them ever even bringing that up. It just wasn't the topic of the day. That was my kindergarten. Apparently, things are different now. When you're in kindergarten, the first thing they tell you is to open up your drawers and see what you got down there, and then compare it to the kid next door. Wow. What a world we live in. What a world we are living in. Jerry Coogan, my buddy from across the pond. Great to see you, Coog. He says, I don't know whether I passed sex ed or not, but I've got 5 children and 12 children. 12 must be 12 grandchildren. So he must have figured it out somehow. I'm so glad that you did, Jerry. I'm so glad that I'll bet you it was instinctive. Something tells me it was instinctive with you. Just a funny feeling. Yes, 12 grandchildren. Good for you. Congratulations, brother. You lucky devil. Lucky devil. Let's see what they're screaming about over at Pilled Foxhole. Are they screaming yet? Yeah. Yeah. Joelaine says kindergarten. She was in Catholic school getting hit on her hand with a ruler. Well, I did get that. I most certainly did get that. And the nuns at my school, they didn't hit you with the flat part of the ruler. It was Master Sella, put out your hand, and I would put out my hand, and they'd say, no, make a fist. So I'd make a fist, and then they would take the ruler on edge, whack, just smack the crap. But I have to admit, my first grade teacher, Mother Margaret Rosary, she loved to grab me by the earlobe. Master Sella, oh my God, she would try to rip my earlobe off and take me all the way up to the front of the class, peeling me out of my seat. See, these are the things that I distinctly remember. I don't remember a damn thing about the sex ed that they taught me in kindergarten because I'm pretty sure there wasn't any. But now there is. And I am telling you, this table of contents here, this table of contents is enough to blow your mind. So it goes, the standards are set by grade level. So it's kindergarten through 2, 3 through 5, 6th through 8th grade, 9th, 10th, 11th, and 12th. Now, this woman's story today, this woman's story that I shared, for those of you tuning in late, earlier today, I watched a YouTube program, and it was a young lady, a traditional conservative young lady, interviewing a woman of 45 years who spent the last 2 years unbrainwashing her daughter, her 14-year-old daughter. It took her 2 years to convince her daughter that she did not want to change sex and become a boy, that she really was a little lady, and that she had been brainwashed at school for the last 6, 8 years. She eventually got through to her daughter and won, and her daughter broke down and cried and thanked her mother for essentially saving her life, maybe. The woman, the woman did everything in her power to reach her daughter. And when she first started talking to her daughter wanted nothing to do with her mother or anything her mother had to say. She had made up her mind. She was 14 and she wanted to transition into a boy. And the mother started doing some homework. By homework, she started investigating the curriculum that was at the schools that her daughter had gone to. And she found some papers and stuff in her daughter's room, questionnaires. Some of the questionnaires, the ones that she was able to provide, were from when the girl was in the ninth grade. So ninth grade is what? That's, let me see if I got this right. Ninth grade, I think, is, what is that, 12? No, that's got to be 13, 14, somewhere in there. Because you get your license when you're 16, and that's typically 10th grade or 11th grade. Anyway, somewhere right in there, okay? Beginning of the teens. She found these questionnaires that are tests. The public school was not sending home. They were giving these kids questionnaires to fill out, and the schools were collecting this information. One of the questionnaires was, how likely are you to engage in anal sex? That was one of the questions that they were asking a ninth grader. How likely are you to how likely are you to engage in anal sex? Let me tell you something. When I was in ninth grade, it was about the last thing in the world that would ever have entered my mind. I didn't want anything to do with that. Nothing. I didn't even want to know what it was. Okay? Wow. Then her mother found other questionnaires, which is, on a scale of 1 to 10, how likely are you to masturbate in front of your sexual partner? Is that really a question that you want to ask a ninth grader and then have them turn it in so you can put stats together? I mean, the questions that these teachers are asking is just, look, I know I'm a little bit of a goody two-shoes, okay? But nobody ever asked me those fucking questions. And if they had, I'd have told my old man. I'll tell you a story about my old man. Okay, now things were a little different in the late 60s and early 70s, okay? My folks sent me to went for 7th and 8th grade. I went to a very prestigious school in the San Fernando Valley. It was called Chaminade Preparatory. It was a collegiate preparatory run by a bunch of brothers, Catholic brothers, who had all sworn the oath to celibacy and all of that. And there was a couple of lay teachers, but predominantly run by a group of brothers. And these guys wore black every day, wore ties every day. Some of them had beards. Excellent teachers, excellent teachers. But also they believed in punishing a child who didn't do what he was told. So my science teacher was a very smart little guy. He was a short little piece of crap. His name was Brother Roland Hinger. And Brother Hinger actually wrote the science book that we studied from, that we learned from. And in the ninth grade, we were doing in the eighth grade, we were doing experiments in class, things like lighting magnesium on fire and just all kinds of experiments. The entire book was experiments. And every day we would drop stuff in acid. We would make stuff foam. We created a volcano. We did all kinds of experiments, pretty advanced stuff for eighth grade science. Okay. Along with the hardcover book, there was a workbook. And every day that we would do an experiment, you would turn in the workbook, let's say experiment number 10, and there would be like 10 or 12 questions over the course of 3 pages. And we bought our books. We owned the books. The books weren't provided by the school. You had to buy the books each year. And if the parents were smart, they sold the books to the eighth grader coming up the following year. Anyway, but the workbook was ours. That was, you throw it away at the end of the year because all year long you're working it. So Brother Hinger told us I'm just using this as an example, on experiment number 10, I want you guys to, it was an all boys school, okay, all boys. I want you to answer questions number 1, number 4, and number 6. So I answered question number 1, number 4, number 6, and I'm flipping through my workbook, and I see question number 10 was draw a sketch of the experiment that you did today. Well, it's my freaking workbook, and I can do whatever I want in my workbook. Just so happens I always had excellent hand-to-eye coordination. I wouldn't quite call myself an artist, but I'm pretty good at putting pencil to paper and drawing images. So I began to sketch a little image of the experiment that we did. I think this is the one where we lit magnesium on fire. Brother Hinger was pontificating. He had his workbook, and he always had his hand behind his back, and he walked up and down the long aisles between. So Brother Hinger is walking along, and he stops, and he glances down at my workbook, and he sees that I didn't answer just questions number 1, number 4, and number 6, that I had the audacity to answer question 10, which was draw a sketch of. Brother Hinger looked at me. He slapped his book closed. He slammed it down on the kid's desk next to me, and he said, "Take off your glasses." I looked at him like, "What?" He goes, "Take off your glasses." I take off my glasses. This guy, backhanded, he slapped me across the face, left, right, like 6 freaking times. I mean, as hard as he could. Now, he's a teeny tiny little waste of a man, but it was pretty humbling. I was definitely taken aback. Shocked would be the word, and you should have seen the faces of all the kids around me watching this happen. My crime, I sketched in my workbook. I get home that day, ride my bike home, and I tell my mom the story, and my mom was pissed, but nowhere near as pissed off as my dad. And I'll never forget, I'm not kidding you, I was down the street, around the corner at the end of the cul-de-sac, shooting baskets with my buddy after school. And I see my dad driving up the road, and I see him pull in the driveway, and I am not kidding you. I figured, well, I better head home. And my dad gets home, it's time for dinner. So I got my basketball, and I dribbling it as I walk down the road, and I look up and I see my dad's car absolutely brodying out the driveway, fishtailing down the road. I looked and I heard that engine winding as he went down Wilbur Boulevard at about 100 miles an hour. My dad drove all the way out to the school and found out that Brother Hinger didn't stay at the at the Chatsworth campus. He was at the Canoga Park campus. My dad proceeded to drive to the Canoga Park campus, and he knocked on the door of the whatever they call it. It's not a rectory, but wherever brothers stay, and they didn't answer the door. My dad beat the door off of its hinges with his fists. He, he tore the door down to get inside. He would have he would have killed Brother Hinger had he found him. Fortunately for Brother Hinger, he was out at dinner somewhere. He was not on campus. Probably the probably the luckiest day of Brother Hinger's life. I'll tell you what. That's the kind of resolve my father had when somebody would lay a finger on his child. So, can you imagine? Can you imagine how this woman felt when she found out that her daughter had been brainwashed and was completely, completely adamant that she wanted to become a boy? The mother did everything in her power to reach her daughter. She said it was like talking to a brick wall. But the mother was resilient. She quit her job. She turned to her husband, she turned to her son and said, "Look, I've got to save this kid. I have to give her all of my attention." So the first thing the mother did was she took her out of the public school and enrolled her in a private school. It was, in this case, a Catholic school. Now, after about a week, she asked to see the priest. Most Catholic schools have most of them are attached to a church. It's a parish, and she asked to speak to the local priest, and she described the problems that her daughter was having, that she was experiencing with her daughter, and the Catholic priest, told this woman that she needs to simply embrace the fact that her daughter is going to become a boy, and she needs to approve of it, and if she doesn't, then her daughter is likely to commit suicide. This was coming out of the mouth of the priest at the private school that she enrolled her daughter at. The woman knew. She knew that after, you know, being in public school for as long as her daughter had been in, that homeschooling was not going to work. It just was not an option. You're not gonna take a rebellious teenager and decide, guess what, honey, we're gonna start homeschooling you. It wouldn't have worked. The woman's story was, seriously, it was heartbreaking. It was heart wrenching, but there was a happy ending. There was a happy ending in that she eventually got through. She got through to her daughter, opened her daughter's eyes, got her daughter to realize that she had been brainwashed over the years, and that there was absolutely nothing wrong with being a girl. The woman shared a great deal about what her, finally, when she got through to her daughter openly discussed with her mom all the things that she had been taught. And the daughter shared things like from the time that they were little, from the time that the kids were little, like in kindergarten, they would say to the girls, "Oh, you like to hang around with other girls. Obviously, obviously you think you're a boy." And they would, that's the kind of That's the kind of foundation they start laying with these kids. It is Baphomet. It is Baphomet. I just, I can't. My mind is blown when I scrolled through this. I wish I could share this with you. It just doesn't fit on the screen. I gotta change my screen. But this, if you really want to have your eyes opened, I invite you. God, can I do this? No, I don't have a link. How can I share this? Unfortunately, I have downloaded a PDF, so it's not shareable. But I invite you to look up the National Sex Education Standards, Core Content and Skills, K through 12, second edition, okay? It is put out by FOSE, the Future of Sex Education. This is National Sex Education Standards, Core Content and Skills, K through 12. K through 12. This is what is being taught to our youth in schools. And folks, when I scroll down, I don't even attempt to tell you what I saw in here, because yeah, I value my channels, and I don't want to look unhinged. I'm a storyteller. That's what I do. I tell stories. Seriously, you will have your eyes opened if you look into this, and I seriously invite you to look into this if you have children in public school here in America, probably worldwide. I'm sure it's got to be the same everywhere. Let's see. What do I have?
This.
Nope, I can't do that. That's the wrong one. We sure as hell don't want to play that. Here we go. We can play this. We'll be back to open the phones. I'm interested in your take on this. I am really interested in what you think is going on in the schools. We'll be back immediately following this note from our dear brother, Belushi.
You know, riding along, listening to the Rasta.
You always run away. You always
I can't help but hope that my dear brother Belushi has just an extraordinary weekend. Have you heard that he's hooked up now with Rise Attire? Yes, he has. He's now carrying a complete line of Shibori men's underwear. Now, you can't get this anywhere else. This is exclusively through the lounge. Rise Attire Shibori men's underwear. Now, there was a rumor going around. I'm here to dispel the rumor. There was a rumor that Paul Pelosi's assailant was found wearing these. I'm here to tell you it's not true. But nonetheless, they are pretty impressive. And Belushi did his own photo shoot for these shots. So have a good look. They come in a plethora of colors. I invite you to support my dear brother Belushi. Buy his undies. It's time for Christmas. What better gift for the man who has everything than a pair of Belushi, the Lounge, Shibori men's
Tidy whiteys. I'm so busy doing other things that I can't. My apologies. My apologies, people. I'm trying to find this for Mr. Coogan. He has requested that I post a link to this. I'm sure I can find it. So give me just a second and I'm going to do that. Did you guys know that our dear sister Marina Abramovic, yes, Miss Spirit Cooking herself, is now going to be the United States ambassador to Ukraine? Isn't that lovely? Isn't that lovely? Okay, let me find this. K through 12, second edition. There it is. There it is. Okay. I will post a link to this so you guys can find it. And I, seriously, if you have children, in public school, I'm going to invite you to look into this. Please do. This is a link that will take you when you go to that link, you'll see a place where you can download it in its entirety. And my goodness. My goodness. We are dropping it on all of the channels. All the channels. Wow, we got 24 people over at Rumble. I love you people. You are rumbling tonight. You are rumbling tonight. Control V. There it is. Send that along. And lastly, over at D Live, here you go. Here you go. Boom. There it is. There it is. That link, folks, that link will take you to, you'll see it, and then you'll be invited to download it and read it. Prepare, all I can say is have a good stiff drink. Have a good stiff drink nearby when you do that, because seriously, I don't know if you're going to be quite prepared. I don't know if you're going to be quite prepared for what you're going to find in that. I know that I wasn't. I was very, very thankful. You know, I'm helping my daughter. We send my grandson to a private school. It is just a small little Christian school, right, very close nearby. And it's, cost me a nice chunk of money every month. After seeing that story today, and after reading this, or just skimming it, just freaking skimming it, that is the best money I spend. If they doubled it, I would still pay. I would still pay. So I have opened up the phone lines. There is a number crawling slowly, ever so slowly, crawling across the bottom of your screen. I'm curious. I'm very curious. A number of things. Do you know anyone who has a child that is currently transitioning, or, even if it's like one away from someone, some kid on your block, maybe? Do you know any kids who are non-binary? This whole new, they're the new Pat on Saturday Night Live, where you look at them and you don't know if they're a boy or a girl. Do you know any, does your son or daughter have any friends like that? I'll tell you an interesting story. Just the other day, I I got sent over to a job site. It was at the local high school, right here, right here in this town where I live. Apparently, we did an addition over there, and one of the doors was not locking properly. So I went in and tweaked the handle, and I got there literally at 2:45. So the buses are rolling in. I heard the bell ring about 5 minutes to three, and the kids came pouring out of there. Thousands of kids go to the school. It's the closest that I've been to a high school in I can't even begin to tell you. I mean, what business do I have being at a public high school? None. So I gathered my tools and everything I need to fix this door, and I got a little cart, and I'm rolling along, and I'm just I'm looking at these kids, and I'm seeing everything that I have been hearing about. I mean, I'm seeing kids that at first glance, I don't know what they are. I really don't. There's no hair. The haircut doesn't give them away. They're dressing in a fashion where I can't tell what sex they are. This is this is really becoming popular. Now, it's not. Let me give you the good news. It's not everybody, but I would have to say probably 20%. 20%. One out of every five kids. That would be my humble estimation. That's what I saw. One out of every five kids has like blue hair, or they're they are just I was unable to identify them, without I didn't want to gawk. I didn't want to be accused of leering. I was just walking through and just casually looking around and seeing, man, what the hell's going on at these schools? Last, I don't know, it was 3-4 months ago. I poured some concrete around here, and I called my buddy up. He's about 20 years my junior, so he's early 40s, and he brought his high school kid along with him to give us a hand, drag rebar around, and we got to talking about this whole they them thing. And so I turned to the kid, and I was completely tongue in cheek, just joking with him. And I said, "Yeah, you probably know a couple of they thems, don't you?" And he looks at me and he goes, "What are you talking about?" Absolutely. I'm like, "What?" I said, there are kids at your school who don't go by he or she. They prefer to be called something else. He goes, "Yes." He goes, "Do you know what else?" And I said, "No." He goes, "There's a cat box. There is a litter box in the girls' bathroom because there are girls who identify as cats." And now I think the kid's just screwing with me. I go, "Yeah, right." And he was dead serious. He goes, "There absolutely is. I could take you and show it to you." And I'm like, "What?" So I was telling some guys at work about this. Construction workers, construction workers. Okay, just want to make sure my phone's working. Don't be shy about calling in, I value your opinion on this topic. I really do. Construction workers. We're vile, cruel creatures. We don't screw around. If we feel if we feel solidly about a subject, we'll let you know. So I was telling my buddies about this at work, and the guy said, if my son, if my son's school had a cat box in it, he goes, I would tell my son to just lay a big old turd in the sun. I said, I hope that he would discreetly carry it into one of the stalls and do his work there and then put it back. He goes, well, obviously, but yeah. Welcome aboard the mystery ship. Is this LT?
Yes, sir.
How you doing, my man? How's it going tonight?
You talk about getting blood boiling?
Man,
What a bunch of horse shit.
can you?
I'm sorry.
Dude, this is. I mean, I should go and I should post the link. What I really should do is post the link to the woman's story. That's what got the ball rolling tonight. That's what really got me all worked up when I first learned, that. I mean, this woman's story was heartbreaking, dude. It was heartbreaking listening to this woman share what she went through to bring her daughter back. Thank God there's good news in that she did bring her brother back. It's crazy. It's crazy. In fact, I'm going to do it. I've just found the link. I'm going to post it. Good. Yeah. So I take it your kids are probably grown by now, LT?
Yeah, my oldest son got kicked out of high school, and my youngest one, I did homeschool with him.
You did?
Yep.
How did that go?
Well, actually, it was through a charter school. He spent about an hour a week doing schoolwork. Teacher came for an hour once a week.
Okay.
He worked an hour a week, and he graduated high school that way.
Really? So, I mean, how many years total did you teach your son from home?
So I taught high school in 99 and 2000.
Oh, I guess you had mentioned that before. I guess I had forgotten that. But yeah, you were. I mean, I know that you had that highfalutin job with like the California Forestry Department, right?
No, I worked for consultants.
Oh, okay. But I mean, it's you working hand in hand with, the state of California,
Yeah.
right? Yeah.
Yeah, at times.
I guess I didn't.
Other times,
Yeah.
other times I did studies to prove they were wrong.
Yeah.
That's how I started my career.
Wow.
Was proving they were wrong.
It's always fun doing that, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it was 99 and 2000 when I was teaching high school, and biology. I had biology classes, and there was no trans-sex ed BS. At least not that I was required to teach. There was a unit, but hell, you can do that in an hour or one class.
Yeah.
You don't need weeks upon weeks of sex education. I mean, it's flipping biology, all right?
I kind of think that it comes naturally to most kids anyway. If they've ever seen dogs in the neighborhood or the occasional cow or horse, they probably already figured that stuff out.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
It's like, oh my goodness.
Yeah. Oh.
And I've been telling people for decades, because I started hearing some of this crap from some of the kids when they were coming into the biology class, and I went, listen, this is the way it is.
let
There's
me
male,
help a brother
there's
out.
female. If you have an extra sex chromosome, then you have problems, and that's a genetic disease. All right.
Yeah.
So, come on, people.
Dude, I'm not kidding. I did post the link. To the woman being interviewed by this girl named Pearl, and it's about an hour and a half. I'm not kidding. If it didn't have a happy ending, in that the girl is now completely rehabilitated, she's normal, she loves her mother, and everything worked out wonderfully. If it wasn't for that happy ending, I'm not kidding you, man. The rest of the story was very, very heartbreaking. You know.
Yeah. Well, when I was going to college in the 90s, I remember having to take the undergraduate required classes of sociology and all that. And I was older, married with kids. So I just saw that they had an agenda, and I just told them what they wanted to hear.
Yeah. Yeah.
It was an easy A.
Good for you.
Tell them what they want to hear, and don't believe a damn thing you write. It was like writing a fiction story.
Yeah. Oh, man. Brother?
But I guess that comes from being engrossed in science, because science, you investigate and look and try to come up with what's going on based on data, not on some supposition.
Amen. Amen, my friend.
No critical thinking is taught.
It's pretty much cut and dry, man. It's a straightforward, it's like playing roulette in Vegas, right? It's black, red or black, I mean, yeah, there's a little green house, but that's to be expected. But most of it is just red, odd or even, red or black. It's just the way it is, man. Oh, man. Brother, I appreciate your call very, very much. Thank you for checking into the mystery ship tonight. And
well, I was waiting to see if anybody else was going to call before I.
Well, now that you've broken the ice, yeah. I'm
I was sitting
glad
here after teaching 20-some years ago, and I saw that stuff starting then, but I couldn't make enough as a teacher to support myself and my 3 kids,
Sure.
so I went back into consulting. It was more fun anyhow.
Yeah. Man. Glad to have you aboard the mystery ship, my friend. And it was fun riding bikes with you this summer, man. Thanks for coming and hanging out with me.
I enjoyed
Introducing
it,
me to Dave MC.
Glad it could happen.
All right, my friend. We'll talk to you soon.
You betcha. Bye-bye.
All the best. That's our brother from Foxhole, LT57FSH, a great guy. Got a freaking beautiful Harley. Beautiful Harley. First thing I saw, I mean, it looks exactly like mine, but he's got my dream windshield. I'm like, damn it, where did you get that? Where did you get that? Welcome aboard the mystery ship. Who do we have on the line tonight?
Mr. Man is my preferred pronoun.
I think I know. I think you're a content creator over on Pilled Foxhole.
I am.
Yes, we all know the biblicist. How you doing, brother?
I'm doing good. I'm visiting Green Dragon. I flew down to Iowa, and we've been hanging out for like 4 days, and
Nice.
Just having a blast.
Doing guy stuff and telling good old stories and all that stuff.
Yeah, overpaying for dinners that are not very good, and underpaying for dinners that are really good. It's a guy thing, I guess.
That's the way it works, man. What are your thoughts on the topic this evening? Is this mind blowing?
It's just too much to even imagine. It's too much to. I don't think about it at all, because it's just too beyond any sort of reality. You know what I mean?
Dude,
And
having met you and your family, seeing a beautifully well-adjusted young lady in the house, your daughter, clearly this was never going to be an issue in your home. But, for kids your daughter's age, it's a reality.
I know. We are very normal. Well, hey, not anymore.
Yeah, I was. The questionnaire is what got me. What is the likelihood that you would be engaging in anal sex? I'm
my
just
God.
like, oh, that's a 9th grade homework assignment for a. Oh man. Yeah.
Well, it's probably in 6th grade. We just don't know it yet.
Oh man, that's enough to make. That's enough to piss off the Pope.
Don't get me started on Frankie. Frankie probably wrote the questionnaire.
Yeah, pretty crazy stuff. So, Definitely, I'm going to put you on the W side for a win on that column. We got a win column. This caller.
Yeah. Give me a bell. Ring the bell for me.
Yeah.
For the win. There you go.
Very
Yeah,
good.
it's just it's. I've pretty much checked out the last 12 months. I don't watch any news. I don't read any news. Once in a while, I will go to Liberty Daily, and after I read 3 headlines, I just turn it off. And I figure, thinking about it and contemplating it doesn't. We're not going to solve anything. All we're going to do is upset ourselves. So I just figure I don't think about it.
I'm there with you. I am
Yeah.
there with you. I mean, having a 12-year-old grandson, I'm a little more concerned than not. But I guess I am thankful that thanks to me, and my daughter, he's not going to be exposed to anything like that. So I just wish that for all children.
Well, it's funny you mentioned the blue hair and the pink hair. I noticed that here. I would probably notice it at home, but I never leave the house because Minnesota is like hell on earth. But even out here, it's very nice. The people are very nice. Like if you stop at a stop sign and a car in the protected boulevard passes you, they actually wave to you and thank you for stopping at the stop sign.
Isn't it nice?
And in Minnesota, they just give you the finger, whatever. But I have noticed an awful lot of purple and blue hair.
It's out there,
and
man.
that's what made me call, because you mentioned that, and I'm like, wait a minute, yeah, it's everywhere.
Yeah,
it's crazy.
It's it makes me think we gotta be close to the end times, man.
I hope it's tonight.
Well, I used to have this piece of video that said, unless you watch The Mystery Ship, you're probably going to hell. That's one of my favorite videos. Thank you, my man. Hey, always great to talk to you, Tony.
Yeah, it's fantastic. All right, man.
Be good, my friend.
And everyone knows why you wear that bandana, because you got blue hair, man. Everybody, Zoso was in my basement, and he has blue hair.
I did take my
I couldn't hold it in any longer.
I took my bandana off in front of him. I can't believe it. All right.
All right, man.
Be good, my friend.
Night.
Have a safe trip.
Bye.
Bye. Tony Dennison, better known as the Biblicist, a great dude. You know what was awesome? I mean, I'd seen his show and stuff. We interacted on. The day I met him, I rolled into Minneapolis, and I got to hang out with Belushi, and I said, "Hey, I'm going to go over and I'm going to go meet the Biblicist." The two of us just sat down on his couch and just bullshitted for like 2.5 hours, like we had known each other for 20 years. He's just one of those guys. Very much love that man. Love that man. Welcome aboard the Mystery Ship. Who do we have on the line tonight?
Hey, this is Starface 15.
Hey, my man. How's it going?
Good. How are you?
I am doing wonderfully, man. Welcome aboard the Mystery Ship. What's your thoughts on tonight's topic?
Well, I've been encountering these purple-haired people, and I just wonder, because they seem to gravitate to certain positions like education and healthcare, and it makes me wonder, because those are the same people that were telling us to wear masks and telling us to get vaccinated and blah blah blah. So I mean, the Karens of the world, the purple-haired Karens, I call them,
our teachers, and
yeah, they're the ones that believe in the pseudoscience. They drank the Kool-Aid, and now they think that they know better than
Yeah, it's a difficult thing. I'll tell you what.
On the street, you're like me.
I'm not kidding you. I mean, I'll say this, that my folks, because they mostly sent me to private school, they weren't terribly, they weren't hanging out at the school a lot. But the very first year that I went to a public school, I remember distinctly my mom and dad going to the very first PTA meeting with the teachers, and particularly my Latin teacher. And my dad, being my dad, uh, had to had to take up arms with my teacher, because she was having us pronounce V's like W's, and I loved the fact that my dad took.
Was ist los? Ja, das ist gut. Yeah.
I love the fact that my dad, avidly took an interest in my school. He wanted to find out what my teachers are like, and my Latin teacher was a very wonderful lady, a very nice, sweet lady. I ended up going to Europe with her and a bunch of other students in the class. But my dad went up to her and he said, "Do you really think that Julius Caesar climbed up on top of a mountain and went, 'Winnie, Winnie, Winky'?" Anyway, it was those were the days. Those were the days.
Yeah, there were some good teachers when I was in school. Because I'm like 60, I'm probably a little younger than you, but there was a guy named Mr. Gilbert. I'll never forget, and he's the kind of teacher that had a skull on the shelf, behind him.
Yeah.
And he was just one of those. Just a really good teacher, very patient, very understanding, and not afraid to go off topic and stuff like that, And another guy that I thought was a great teacher was Colonel Robert Locks at my junior high school. He taught aeronautics and speed reading and a couple other weird things, but he was an awesome teacher. He was a ex-pilot in World War II. He was a B-29 bomber pilot.
Wow.
Believe it or not. And he had connections, dude. He could get us into Moffett Field and these doors that you couldn't normally get in.
Oh, that is cool.
Oh, hey, Colonel, and we were just like,
honestly, dude, I mean, God bless our good teachers. I know that they're out there. I know there are some. When I was raising my family and my kids started going to the local public school, I sent them to private school as long as I could afford to. And eventually it just became, the choice was, do I give the kids braces or do I, you have to make some life choices sometimes. So they ended up going to public school. And I went to the PTA meetings and met their teachers. And, I remember the good teachers that I had growing up in both public and private school. I remember them well,
Yeah.
and appreciated them.
You got to remember
very much.
The whole thing is an institution, and it's basically the government funds it, so our taxes pay for that.
Indoctrination camps.
Yeah. So it's not about how good we are doing worldwide, comparatively speaking.
No, it's can you repeat this and regurgitate exactly what we tell you?
Yeah. It's more like. So our children can't even compete with other children around the world, and who pay half for their education. Our education is so mired up with people that have just been sitting around taking a check, and whether it's the lunch lady or the whatever, and they serve a purpose and all, but now they're it's just like I said, it's the gardener all the way down to the
I hear you, buddy. I hear you,
man. Can't we just learn this shit at home? We got computers now. We don't even need these buildings. We can just turn them into parks or something.
Why can't teachers teach online and the kid stays home in the safety and privacy of his bedroom and learns?
Yeah. I think apprenticeships and mentorships should be more prevalent, and also mentorships. I mean, just like in the Greeks, Socrates had his
group of young charges.
His young proteges or whatever you want to call them, and they learned from the masters, just like the artists did.
Dude, just like
like anything,
journeymans, took cubs under their wings, and after 7 years, man, you were a bona fide plasterer. I mean, there was.
Yeah.
No
Yeah.
kidding. And the trades, they call it a trade for a reason. You're
Yeah.
trading your
You could barter what you
attention and
do
your life
against somebody else
for
who can do
something that's
something.
going
Yeah.
to earn you a living.
Exactly, man. Hey, dude,
Yeah.
I will plaster your home for you if you will come build a roof over mine. I mean, it's
Right.
those were the
Well, no,
yeah.
I meant in you're trading, your efforts and your work
Right.
to learn a trade, to learn the skills.
Right.
Is what the trade is.
No, I agree, but I mean, they did actually. The reason it's called a trade is they bartered amongst themselves.
Yeah.
This guy
That's
can do
probably
this.
True,
I need somebody to do that for me, but I'm
Yeah.
capable of doing this. Hey, I'll do this for that guy. He's going to do this
Yeah.
for you,
Oh,
and then you come over
yeah.
here and do that. It's
Yeah, the barn raising.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
amazing. Brother, great to talk to you, man. I appreciate
Yeah.
your call, Starface. Always good to talk
Great
to you.
conversation. Always. Thanks.
Take care, brother.
Love
Take
you,
care.
brother.
Starface 15, our foxhole buddy from NorCal. Got to meet him on my latest motorcycle journey across the country. I'm looking at the time here, folks. It's starting to get late. I'm going to have to switch over to our prayer chain. I'm going to switch to our prayer chain because it's that time. It's that time. What did I do with... There it is. There it is. Very good. Let's go here. We knock that down. Put that away. Put that away, son. Put that away. Okay. All right. As you guys know, we'll take one more call. We'll take one more call. Why not? Is this PWG?
Yes, it is.
How you doing, little lady? Good?
I'm good.
Good to
How
have
are
you aboard. Prayer Warrior Girl. Aboard the mystery ship.
Well, I wanted to know if you've ever heard of the documentary Dead Name.
What's it called? Dead what?
Dead Name. It's an indie documentary. It is not fiery or provocative or slick or political. Rather, it's an intimate portrait of three parents whose lives have been shaken and forever altered because their children have declared or have been given a transgender identity.
Okay, so the first word is dead. Tell me the second word again.
Dead Name, and you can't get it on YouTube. But
Okay.
The Word, he is one of the streamers here in the Foxhole. He
Okay.
has it on his replays at 6/24/23. That's
Ooh.
when he basically aired it, and it's called the Dead Name documentary. And
Okay.
you can watch it over there.
And
I've
who's the
watched
content
it,
creator?
And it is so heartbreaking.
Who's
I'm sorry, what?
who's the content creator who uploaded it?
The Word.
The Word.
Mm-hmm.
The Word. Well,
Yeah.
I'm going to have to go check that out from
Yeah.
6/24. Okay.
6/24 is basically when he replayed it,
Okay.
and it will break your heart. It really is heart-wrenching to see these parents go through their children doing this.
I got to tell you the link that I posted tonight. The woman, going through her story, you could tell that she was exasperated at times. She wondered if she'd ever be able to get back through to the little girl that she once, with the pink bedroom walls and the Barbie dolls and all that. She was like,
Absolutely.
yeah.
Absolutely. And in one of them, I mean, it ends not good. It doesn't end good at all.
that's-
It's
reality, sister. It's
Yeah,
reality.
it is. It's reality, and people need to, they need to know about this because this is what's going on right now. This is it. This is landed here on planet Earth. So yeah. But I thought I'd call in and just share that with you.
I'm glad that you did. I'm very glad that you did. Thanks for sharing that. I will put it out there.
Absolutely, and hello, chat. I love you all, and God bless you.
Prayer Warrior Girl, thanks for calling in, darling.
You're welcome.
We'll
Bye-bye.
talk to you
God bless
soon.
Okay, bye-bye.
PWG, our dear friend, our dear sister. You've seen her smiling face in the group of sailors at the beginning of the show. All right, it is Sunday night. On Sunday nights, I like to delve into my little blue book, which is just about ready to turn into my new black book. Thank you, Artist61, for everything you do for me. There are a number of people
there are a number of people who are in need of prayers, folks, and it seems like it's constantly growing, constantly. Um, just today, just today, I heard from a dear brother. I'm going to lead off with him tonight. His name is Matty F&B. Now, this is one of my buddies. Those of you who have followed my around the country uh, motorcycle runs last year, uh, right after visiting Frank, actually, I went down through Pennsylvania and hooked up with my buddy Matty F&B. He's a Harley rider, and man, this guy went out and got crabs. I mean, he got a ton of them. He went over to the coast. I think he bought them in Jersey or Delaware or something like that. And we had a feast. I mean, just a feast. It was wonderful. Such a great guy. Such a great freaking guy. He reached out to me today and shared that he is personally struggling right now, mostly because his father taught him his trade. He's a roofer, and not just a plain old everyday roofer. This guy does anything, including the fanciest roofs, copper, tin, those round belvederes. This guy, he's in the upper 2% of roofers. There's roofers who don't have a clue how to do what Matty can do, and he learned it from his father. His father took a tumble and hit his head severely, and while he healed, he let's just say he was bending the elbow a little bit, and it had an adverse effect. And there's a disease out there. I didn't even know about it. I didn't even know this disease existed. It is similar to dementia. In fact, it's exactly like dementia, but it is brought on by alcohol. So the combination of his fall and his smashing his head and damaging his brain, combined with, I guess, just bad situation. It's horrible, and Matt is trying to help his dad the best he can. He is being chased out by other family members. There are. I'm not gonna get too deep into his poor family's history, but I can tell you this: both Matt and his father are in need of our prayers right now. His dad is suffering from dementia. He does have brief moments of lucidity where he's as normal as everything, and then a couple of minutes later he's gone again. And Matt is trying to hold down a 40-hour-a-week job, more like a 50-hour-a-week job, and spend every living moment he can with his dad, who is currently in a nursing home. The odds are stacked against him. Would you please keep our friend Matty F&B and his dad Mark, keep them in your prayers. I just ask that God, nothing is impossible. Nothing is impossible with God. That I ask that God would just wrap his loving arms around this man and give him solid moments of lucidity where Matt can take care of the legal proceedings so that he doesn't lose his house and stuff. It's really convoluted. The state has stepped in, and their first concern is how to pay for everything. How do we pay for your dad being in the hospital? Well, let's sell his house and let's sell his shop and all of his tools and everything he owns. It's heartbreaking. Please keep Matt and Mark in your prayers, if you would. Here's a big one right here. My dear brother, the Texan, is on the verge of superstardom. I don't know if you guys remember, about 2 years ago, 2 years ago, we prayed for the Texan. He had an opportunity. A window opened, a door opened, and and we prayed that the Texan would get this job, and it worked out, and he got the job, and he was happy as a clam for about a year and a half, and then stepping out of the tractor trailer one day, out of his semi, he hyperextended his knee, and spent about 6 months recuperating after an operation. Took him 3 months to even do the operation. That's all healed and good and everything. He finally gets back on his feet, and the company that he was working for filed for bankruptcy. This was one of the single biggest trucking companies in America. Yellow Freight. I'm sure you've seen yellow freight trucks out there. It's hard to believe that they're gone. They were also hooked up with a company called Redaway. If you haven't seen those orange and black trucks, Redaway, man. Anyway, he's got another opportunity. He's got another opportunity. This is big time. He's going for an interview tomorrow, people. The Texan is going for his interview tomorrow. This is with Peterbilt, and this is working for them directly. I implore you, say a prayer for our friend the Texan, that this door might be open. I mean, God's will be done. We all know that, but he is super qualified for this job, and it's just a matter of them sitting down and having an interview with him. And he's going to have to go through some physical rigors. The physical test is pretty demanding. You know, they pick up this 100-pound box and walk 50 yards, then set it down, then pick it up again and walk back, and do that 7 times. Then get on this treadmill and get that bike up to 70. I mean, I know he can do it. I know he can do it. Please keep our brother, the Texan, in your prayers. Pray that he gets this job. I know it's going to work for him. I know it's going to work. Our brother, the Texan, a great freaking guy. Great freaking guy. There's a young lady that's been hanging out with us lately on Saturdays, a wonderful, wonderful new friend. Don't laugh when I tell you her name. Her name is Victoria, okay? But she's anything but. She's a sweetheart, green-eyed girl that is, sadly, looks like she's going to be going through her second divorce. And she's had some tough days. I want to ask that you pray for her. I pray that she has all good days. All good days. God can do anything. Nothing is impossible. Nothing is impossible. Pray for this young lady. Pray that everything goes her way. That's what I will ask. Bitch Toria. Just leave the bitch part off. Just pray for Toria, okay? I saw our dear sister P. Dan out there. Peggy Dancer. She's one of our, quite frankly, players. She has been, she's had a nice long year of probably going on 15 months of some tough medical problems, and getting a runaround from doctors and just not feeling like her good old self. I want us to pray that God heals her and makes her well again, that she becomes her good old self again, okay? Just all it takes is God to just wave his hand and say, be healed, sister. But we can also do that for one another. It doesn't have to be God. We can heal one another. We have this power. It's right here. You just got to believe that you can do this. I believe that if we pray for Peggy Dancer, she's going to be just fine. Please keep her in your prayers. Another dear sister is Sleeping Stars. Our dear sister. She was my guest a couple weeks ago. She's had a really difficult run. She has lost a lot of weight, not able to, when she eats, she's having difficulty eating. When she finally finds something that she can keep down, Uh, it's she's not getting the nourishment out of it. It has been she's been to all kinds of doctors, and all of them have kind of thrown their hands in. So she is seeking alternative treatments, and some wonderful sailors have assisted her. Please keep our friend Shelby in your prayers that she be healed. That she be healed would be my request. I'd like to ask us to please continue to pray for the Amber Fishburne family. That is Leonard's family. They're they're going to have constant reminders all year long. Um, you know, every holiday, family birthdays, Father's Day. There's all kinds of things that are going to remind that family that they've lost their husband, they've lost their father. Please pray for them. Please keep them in your prayers. I just wish all good days for the Fishburne family. Wonderful, wonderful people. Our brother Dave Mick. This is a guy that the caller tonight, LT, introduced me to him. Dave has been battling leukemia, and this is a it's a lifelong battle. He'll be battling this the rest of his life, but he's doing well right now, and we just pray for his continued success. Pray for his continued success, folks. It's a great, great thing to see him up and about and doing wonderfully. He was missing from the chats for a very, very long time. Great to see him again out there. Big Willie and Doll Fan. Big Willie was just in my chat the other night. Both of these guys they're struggling with lung issues. Big Willie got diagnosed with lung cancer. Doll Fan had one lung worked on like 10 years ago, a decade ago, and now the doctors are looking at his other lung. I just pray that these two guys keep their daily struggle at a minimum, that they just keep on keeping on, that God blesses them and helps them continue to flourish. Big Willie, Doll Fan, don't forget them. Keep them in your prayers. Speaking of Willie, it reminds me of Willie Fixit and his wife Hannah, both of them wonderful, wonderful folks, beautiful people. Willie's wing has been bothering him for in excess of a year. He injured himself, and it's just not healing. It almost gets there, and then because he has to work for a living, he does something and tweaks it again. It's like a never-ending losing game for him. Pray that Willie gets healed once and for all. Pray for Willie's arm. God bless him. They're wonderful folks. Wonderful, wonderful folks right there. Let's see. Our dear sister Leah Worth is another fine example of a sailor. This is a girl who gives and gives and gives, never asking in return. Well, I'm asking that we pray for her. Leah Worth. She has daily struggles that not any one of us would like to deal with. Just pray that she has all good days. And same for our brother Gary Flessner. He's the whole reason I made it over to Foxhole. God bless him. Gary is struggling with just a bear of a disease, and he recently had his hip broken and replaced, and the hospital handlers bringing him home re-injured him, putting him in his bed, thus just making his life miserable. This disease that he suffers from, he had it in check. He had it in check for almost 10 years. It has returned, and he's just having a devil of a time. Please pray for our dear brother Gary. I mean, he'll never piss and moan. You'll never hear him complaining about it, but I'm telling you, he does appreciate the prayers, and they work, people. They work. Same for our sister Rita. You might know her as R. Charlie. She is a dear friend on the YouTube chat. She had what should have been a very simple operation on her foot to remove just a little fatty cyst. It should have been a one and done slice, remove, deep stitch, and then topical stitch. It got infected and went to hell in a handbasket. And what should have been a 2-week healing process is going on a couple of months. Please continue to pray for Rita that she heals. She's only recently been able to start walking again on it. So I ask you, please pray for our friend Art Charlie that she be healed would be my request. There's a young man by the name of Trey Fulton who had a type of brain surgery. It was given really difficult odds. I mean, at best, they gave him only a 25% chance of ever living a healthy life. You know, anything is possible. If you believe, I believe, we can pray for this young man and that he will live a long and fruitful life. Trey Fulton is his name. Please keep him in your prayers. Our two ladies battling breast cancer are Minnesota Gal and Liz G. This has been about a year-long battle. I understand there's been some good news out of both camps, so we want to keep that up. Keep that up. Liz G, Minnesota Gal, please pray for their continued success. Our sister Patricia Serdal is another dear friend of the family. I mean, she has been a sailor on this show since its inception. She's got one of the original shirts. Please keep Patty Serdal in your prayers. You might remember her as Patricia Sayre. She's struggling. She's struggling, folks. Please keep her in your prayers. Dave and Sheree Maddox, will always be praying for them. Always. They have a challenge ahead of them with Sheree's help. Dave is beating cancer. His wife is. She is adamant. The woman studies. She's reading up on all kinds of homeopathic methods, and they're working. I just wish them continued success, please. Dave and Sheree Maddox. I certainly hope I haven't forgotten anyone here. I think I got the brunt of them. I really do. Anyway, time for me to release the treasure chest. Let's get over here to D Live and send some love their way. These beautiful people. Whoa. Oh, dang it. Oh, I hit the wrong button, people. You got a treasure chest coming at you with only 60 lemons in it. I didn't get to add anything. I wonder if I can change that. Nope. You're going to have to wait till next show, people. Your brother Zoe screwed up. So enjoy those 5 lemons if you win them. Man, I'm sorry. This is embarrassing. Bad Zoot got 10 of them. Spud got 6. Miss 320 got 4.9. Syllabore got 4.1. And Lynn Winters, 3.6. Please forgive your brother, Zoe. I'll load that thing up next time. I have my moments. I do want to thank the wonderful people over here at Pilled Foxhole who donated to the show tonight. Sean Joe, Classical Chick, Porpoiseful, Nylon Camel, CL Goober, and Razor. Thank you all. Thank you all for your support of this program. Seeing the name Classical Chick has rung a bell in my memory. This coming Tuesday night, folks, there's another family I would like us to pray for, and that is the family of our recently departed brother, Canada Dave. A great dude. He would call into my show at the very beginning, back when I was only on YouTube. Canada Dave, you might know him as Off Gridden in the 49th. He passed away last weekend. He had a heart attack in his sleep, and it is heartbreaking for his family. I believe his mother's name is Martha. My heart goes out to them. Please, please, please pray for Canada Dave's family, that his family might know peace, consolation at this time. He was a neat guy, really an interesting guy, and yeah, my heart is with them. My heart bleeds for them. He's a tough guy. He lived completely off the grid, off the grid. I mean that's a mountain man right there. Really an interesting fellow. There's going to be a memorial for him this coming Tuesday night. Tuesday night at 7 p.m. over on the Foxhole on Classical Chicks channel. Classical Chicks over at Foxhole, Tuesday night, 7 p.m. Come join us in remembrance of our brother, Canada Dave. All right, I'm releasing the scratching. There it is. The scratching is coming your way, baby. There it is. Start scratching that itch. Start scratching that itch. There it is. Okay, thank you, everybody, over at... look at that. Baby Yoda in the house. Good to see you, buddy. Good to see you. Coog, always a pleasure to have you over there. I thought I saw... Did I see Linda Love over there? How wonderful. Very cool. Very cool. Great to have you guys aboard. Erica Rommel is here. What do you know? Hey, that's great. That is freaking cool. How wonderful. Guys, have a wonderful day. Rest of your evening, I mean, and a wonderful week ahead. We love all you guys. We will be seeing you on the next mystery ship. Let me take this right here and go here and then go here, because I have a little something. It's beautiful, beautiful, calming, wonderful sounds to ease you all into your sleep tonight. Those laying in bed right now, Bitch Toria, this is for you, darling. If this doesn't put you to sleep, I don't know what will. Let's see who won the pills over there. Let's see who won pills. There we go. SRG Sparky, Prayer Warrior Girl, Prairie Fire, Razor, Starface, Thumper Rose, Sigurd, Amethyst Cat. Outstanding. Porpoiseful, Dave Mick, Willie Fix, Mystery 20. Hey, I should see if I can get myself a little something. Should I get myself a little something? Nothing tonight. I'll try one more time. I'm going to try one more scratch off, but sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. It doesn't look like it's happening tonight. All right. Well, I got to get on down the road, people. Thank you, mods, on all of the channels. Without your help, I don't know what I would do. I freaking love you guys. Thank you, everybody. Have a great night. Thanks for hanging out with me. We'll see you on the next mystery ship Wednesday night, 7 p.m. Pacific, 10 p.m. Eastern. Good night, everybody. Enjoy your week.